Hi, I'm Candy Cooper back at Nasco with Activa's CelluClay. And if you're new to CelluClay, you'll want to show or check out our basics video on just how to use the product. For this video, I'm going to show you how to take things a little bit further, show you some really inspirational ideas for using CelluClay in your artwork at home or in the classroom. One of my favorite things about CelluClay is that you can actually tint the formulas, especially the white, with acrylic paint. And to do that, you just add the paint while you're mixing it up. Just add some paint to the bag and keep massaging it until you have it consistently mixed throughout the clay. And you can see I've brought some brown here. It started out like this, but when you add the whatever color you want, you get something like this. And you can use it just like that on your armatures. That's what happened here on this little bird. We mixed up some blue and just packed it onto our armature, and it dries just like that. And that actually gives you just one step ahead on your decorating process. You could also use something like this brown to create kind of a terracotta finish for a bowl. Another thing that you can do is embed things in it. So we pre-tinted this paper pink and then embedded petals from like dried flowers or plants or whatever. You can use straw, glitter, anything goes, but just push it into the clay and leave it to dry. Another idea is to take maybe more of a wet formula and pat it right onto a canvas. And that gives you a really cool, interesting surface to start with, and then build up your layers. Especially great for mixed media art that's so popular right now. Lastly, I want to show you a little bit of this wire mesh that was packed with CelluClay. You would just roll it right into the wire mesh to get something like this. And if you look really carefully, you can see some of the detail of the wire mesh that came through with the CelluClay. So if you want to add a little bit of texture to your CelluClay, it's super easy. You can use rubber stamps, texture plates, rollers like I have here. You'll just want to put a little bit of water on your roller or whatever texture item you have, and then just roll it directly into the clay. And it's awesome how much detail the clay picks up. And you can leave it like that to dry. Another idea is to use it with wire mesh. And I've got some that I started here. This is actually how this piece was created. The clay was just rolled right into the mesh and then left to dry and then painted and collaged like this. You could also take it one step further and actually form the clay however you like, because the metal is going to keep it rigid while it sets up to dry. You can also use CelluClay to mold with. So if you want to create something like this mask, you can do it a couple different ways. We mentioned in the basics video how you can actually drape the CelluClay right over the top of the form, or you can actually push it down in. You'll need a release agent, something like a cornstarch dusted over the mold or liquid soap painted down in, and then push your CelluClay right into the mold. And then a really great trick is to put the whole piece into the freezer, let it freeze. That makes everything contract, so you can just pop your CelluClay piece right out of the mold, leave it to dry, and then it'll be ready to decorate however you like. The last thing I want to show you is combining CelluClay with rigid wrap and wire mesh. And to do that, that's how these bears were created. And you can see we've kind of got a little step-by-step process here. This piece was first constructed with crumpled newspaper, and then masking tape to hold it in place. Then wire mesh was molded around each of the limbs and detail pieces, and then pieces of the rigid wrap plaster cloth were added to the outside. To use plaster cloth, you just simply dip it into water and then pack it onto your piece. I'm going to flip this little fellow around so you can see. But you would just lay your pieces over. And this is how you would do, you know, body casts or anything else. I wouldn't use it to fix a broken arm, though. Okay, so you would just keep putting pieces over, and then that gives you a really strong structure then to pack your CelluClay over like this was here. Once you get your wire mesh and plaster cloth in place, then you're going to add another layer of CelluClay over top of the plaster. And that gives you a nice firm surface then to add even a second layer of CelluClay. Let me turn him around so you can see, to add your texture and details. And you can just use any traditional ceramic tools or even household items to get texture like this. So those are just a few techniques that you can expand on your CelluClay arts and crafts projects. For more ideas, check out the enasco.com website or activaproducts.com website.